January 18th, 2023. I'm standing inside an expensive loft overlooking the west side of Medellin. The sun is slowly rising over the mountains as I watch through a wall of glass. At this point, I hadn't slept in almost 36 hours. I'm in the middle of a beautiful exotic country. Everyone smiles at me everywhere I go, and there's more money in my bank account than I've ever had at one time. And I was at the lowest point in my life that I'd ever been. 96 hours prior to this moment that I'm describing to you, my life fell apart within just a few weeks leading up to it. The two lucrative clients carrying my design business, gone in the blink of an eye just because of sudden budget cuts. My relationship imploded while we were traveling through her native country for the very first time. Then the news about my father came right behind the breakup. Healthy his whole entire life, but now diagnosed with kidney cancer. I was already 10 pounds underweight from all the stress and the lack of sleep, so I just stood there, staring at that horizon through that glass, rich on paper, empty everywhere else. That sunrise marked the beginning of the mental depression that lasted me for close to about 9 months. It was the uncomfortable death of my old identity and the beginning of the identity I assume as the man you see here on YouTube every single week. What pulled me through all of that came from the last place that I'd ever looked, an ancient book hidden from the majority of people that have ever walked this planet and written by a mysterious figure that has been lost to time. I can trace every single bit of that pivot in my life back to the principles that I'm teaching you on today. 1 year from that morning in Colombia, my reality had completed a full 180. By January 18th, 2024, a year later, I was engaged to that same woman who said she'd never speak to me again. My business resurrected from the dead and pulled in better clients, paying me more than I was making before the loss. This here channel that you watch me on every week was already in its infancy with just its first few hundred subscribers, and my father's cancer was already in remission and has stayed that way till this day. A 5,000-year-old book showed me how to make this dream my reality. So what do you think it'll do for you? Let's pause right here for a second. Let me interview for a moment. Are you finding yourself at this very point right now? Or do you keep on repeating a similar story every few years or so? Have you spent hours consuming all of this manifestation content floating around on the interwebs, all of the law of attraction content, law of assumption, The Secret, Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, Florence Scovel Shinn, listening to all of the greats and even the AI versions of them, yet still nothing is consistently working for you or working at all? Well, that's a good thing, because most of the voices on this here platform of ours will let you believe that they woke up one day and downloaded all of the secrets of the universe without the learning curve that comes along with it. My own awakening didn't come in a neat package or in a perfect book. After years of trial and mostly error, it came from the beautiful chaos that is this YouTube algorithm. What I finally accepted is that reality really is a simulation, a game inside a game, if you will, but a game made with rules, mechanics, and layers. And to bend all of them in your favor, you have to first know what they are. Our reality runs on a set of universal principles mapped out in the Hermetica. They're always active and in full effect, whether you believe in them or not, or whether you agree with them or not. Think of it as a video game world. The game engine is already designed, it's already coded, and you simply play within its rules, within its defined laws and mechanics. Once I learned to shift my identity correctly, the life that I wanted started to match the identity I claimed months beforehand. And when I look back at this whole entire journey, but from a teacher's perspective though, one thing became crystal clear. Some people live by these principles and some people simply choose not to. But before we dig into that, secure your spot in my private program by starting with the free mindset training that I have linked down below in the description and in the pinned comment. The training prepares you to enroll in my full program, The Innerverse, where we'll use my customized frameworks to upgrade your identity. I have used these exact same methods to transform the lives of hundreds of clients, just like I did my own. Now, that transformation started with my own discovery of these secrets shortly after that sunny morning in Medellin years ago. I became abruptly aware of my own patterns and the cycles that I kept finding myself trapped in every single year, every few years even, and I was the only one to blame for it. That revelation pulled me into the world of esoteric knowledge and wisdom to figure out who I was at my most authentic self, who I actually was underneath all the fear, the guilt, the anger, then uncover him for good this time. I dove into all of the LOA and spirituality content that I could find here on YouTube. I made several couple dozen pit stops through all of the different YouTubers and interpreters that I could find that claimed to have all of the answers. Now, I don't really hold any grudges about any part of that journey, but some of those good people sent me down the wrong path, down the wrong road, doing 100 miles per hour without a helmet. But some of them did hand me just enough of the right information for me to continue my search for the truth. Through all of that, it took several years for me to find this 5,000-year-old secret hidden right in plain sight. Hell, it might even be older than that, but I've materialized everything that I set out to using this wisdom, and I learned a formula to do it again and again. My life transformed right before my eyes, but it still wasn't enough to quench my thirst by just doing it once or twice. I wanted to find out how I could make it repeatable and scalable. So just one question sat in the back of my mind as I continued to search through the interwebs. Who taught the teachers? Millions of your fellow creators are already living their highest timelines on the back of this 5,000-year-old book that answer all of my questions, but most of them have never even read it. The Law of Attraction is a modern-day rebrand for a process that relies heavily on just 3 of the 7 Hermetic principles. These principles I'm going to outline are infallible. The pattern is hard to miss once you're aware of it. The people who understand how this game works are the ones who thrive from it the most. Period.